the multiple 2024 Academy Award nominated film Anatomy of a Fall is still in theaters as I record this. I saw it in a theater, and it tells the story. It's a foreign film, but French film, I believe, but predominantly in English, just so you know going in. This tells the story of a husband and a wife and their young son, and they live in this A-frame somewhere in the wilds of, I believe it's France, in wintry clime, and little boy goes, walks the dog, comes back, finds his father laying dead in the driveway, apparently from a fall from the top floor of their A-frame house. And then the film becomes this investigation into, did the wife kill the husband? Did the husband jump? Why did he jump? Who did it and why? And also the wife and or husband, they're both authors, and one of them had written a book that basically talked about this sort of same thing. So what's going on here? It starts off as an interpersonal drama film, becomes a courtroom drama film, and domestic drama too, with the son not knowing, if the mother did it, and loving the father and not wanting to talk about the fights they used to have and the dysfunction in the family and all that. The mother is played by Sandra Hüller, who is nominated for an Oscar for this film. She's also in The Zone of Interest, and this film is nominated for the director, Justine Triet, for the directing the film, Best Picture, Screenplay. So it's got a bunch. It's got all the big nominations for it. I didn't really care for it. I didn't think it was badly made, but it was a lot of intellectual verbal wanking to me. It's these two intellectual authors, and there's this extended scene where, for some narratively convenient reason, the husband had recorded on his laptop this argument that they had, which really plays into the court case, conveniently plays into the court case. And they start to play this audio, and then you see the full scene play out. And it's just, I don't know, it was just a whole lot of jibber jabber that I found just monotonous and pretentious and hard to get through, and that scene kind of sunk it for me. But even before then, it's a very loose film. Eventually, I will say there is a verdict in the film, but the problem is, not to give anything away, I didn't know anything about this movie going into it, and the first thing that came up on screen, as far as every film is preceded by. Well, they're usually preceded by a lot of trailers, but every film starts and there's like 5 or 6 logos at the beginning of every movie now, with all the production companies that had something to do with it. And the first thing that comes up is a website URL that's like www.didshedoit.com. And I'm like, so apparently before the movie even starts, if you are blessed to be able to go into a film and not know what the storyline is, which is to me the best way to see a film if you can, before the movie even starts, this thing comes up and says to me, that woman in the movie might have done something. She might have killed the guy. And I don't want that planted in my head before the incident even occurs, before that even comes up in the story that it might be a possibility. That was really dumb, I thought. And it also kind of tips you off to, well, maybe that question isn't going to get answered in this movie if you're putting that right up at the front of the movie. It was really stupid. Now, I don't know if that's not necessarily the fault of the filmmaker. That's probably something the distributor did, but it was really dumb. I thought that should have come up at the end of the movie, not at the front. So it's a very popular art house film. A lot of people like it. People think it's award worthy. I just didn't find it as compelling as I kind of hoped it would. It was odd to me how much was in English, but probably that was done, honestly, for commercial reasons. Part of it was for narrative reasons. They say that the wife was German and the husband was French, and their child, he didn't speak German so well, and she didn't speak French so well. So what they were going to do is they were going to speak a mutual language, English, for their son, so that they could speak just one language for the group in the house. So it does pop back and forth. So you will have some subtitles to read if you don't like to read subtitles, but honestly, not a lot. It's really mostly in English. Even the court case is predominantly English. One interesting thing about the court case, it's, I believe, again, it might have been a different country, but European, let's say. The European court that they have, the guy who's the prosecutor for the state trying to prove that this woman was a murderer, he looks just like a guy who should be working in a parking lot. It was really weird. He had like a shaved head, and his mannerisms were it looked like he should be wearing an Adidas tracksuit and leaning against a somewhat nice car, being up to no good somewhere. He didn't really come off as a prosecutor to me. It was kind of distracting. So at any rate, I think it's a well-made film. I think the acting for the most part is good. I just personally didn't care for it. Your mileage may vary. In theaters now, eventually on streaming forever, Anatomy of a Fall.